Oh shit. Back at again with another YouTube channel. My name is DJ Kenz and I want to teach you how to become a better DJ, or I want this channel to become a place where we all get to learn something new. So in today's video, I will be teaching you one of the most important skills as a DJ, which is, drum roll please, how to read the room and what ways you could read a room. Most DJs ask, what is the first song that they play in a room? That's not the right question. The right question is, what is the room telling me before I even play? So let me break that down to you. So depending on what type of event that you're DJing for, whether if it's a wedding, right? DJing does not start when you press play. DJing actually starts for weddings when you get on that first consultation call with your client. For club events, DJ starts when you actually enter into the room because you have to scope out and know who's in the building. We're going to break all of that down. So here are 7 ways for you to read the room, right? So the first way for you to read a room is to know what type of event that you're doing, right? So as I listed before, the different types of events that exist are birthday parties, graduations, weddings, club events, festivals. In all of those scenarios, it requires you to read a room in a different way. So for example, for weddings, right? That moment that you read a room, before you even start the party or before you even start the music, you're getting on the call with the client and you're understanding and you're getting to know what their audience is, who they are, what's their demographic, the age range, if there's anybody's birthday. You're finding out all these little details so that you could use that for when you start DJing. That's for weddings. For graduations, you want to know who the celebrant is, what school did they go to, who did they graduate with, what year did they graduate with, and etc. And they might be with their classmates as well too. So that's an important key detail for you to understand. For birthday parties, this is especially important. You want to know everything there is to know about the birthday person, what they like, what's their age range, right? Who's going to be with them? Is it a 25th birthday party? If it's a 30th birthday party, if it's a 20th birthday party, if it's a 21st birthday party, or if it's a 40th birthday party, you want to know who came out to support them. If it's their uncles, their aunties, their friends, majority of the time, the younger the age, it's more of their friend group. The older it is, then it's more of the family situation. It's more of the family that's going to be in the crowd. So you want to get to know all of these information before you even start your gig. Now, for club events, it's a little bit different because you're going to have a mix of everybody. You're going to have birthdays in there. You're going to have graduates in there, depending on the season. You're going to have, even with the birthdays, you're going to have to know who signed. Kind of walk around, converse with the people as well too, because guess what? You're at home base. You need to know, hey, who am I going to be shouting out today? Hey, who am I going to be talking to today? Because once you touch that controller, it's game time. You feel me? Oh, even for the clubs as well too, depending on what night it is, what theme it is, the club might play R&B, hip hop, Afro beats, dancehall, soca. You want to know the different types of people that are in club. You want to know where they're from. You want to know what country they're representing. There's a lot of things that go within the club that you want to know, and you want to gather those basic information. So that's number 1 type of event. Number 2, the second way to read the room, you want to figure out the age range of the people that's in your event, right? Depending on what type of event it is, right? So anybody that's like 25 plus, you could play about like the hip hop from the 2000s, the dancehall from the 2000s. You could, there's a lot of music that came out in that era that you could hit, but it depends on, again, what time that you're playing as well too. right? If you're playing prompt time, you know, you want to play the songs that are out right now, but you could throw in those songs as well too. But if you're playing like opening set or warm-up set, right, which is like for prime time, depending on what time your club closes, maybe the first 2 hours. If you're playing within the first 2 hours of the club at nighttime, you could hit those genres. All right. Like, you know, I'm from Jersey, so we play like a lot of Jersey club music. So if anybody's 25 plus, they know the DJ Lil Man, they know the DJ Frosty, they know like all of those Jersey clubs hits that came out back in the day, back in high school. You could hit those depending on where you're at in the set, right? For like birthday parties, graduations, weddings, right? So in the beginning, as you're warming people up, depending on the age range, if it's a group of older people, you want to start with older music, like the throwbacks, like the 80s, 90s, aunties and uncles type of situation. If it's anybody in the 25 plus range, honestly, any type of music could go. You could go throwback, you could play music that is kind of bubbling right now, right? But you don't want to play anything hot. You want to play anything that's something that's bubbling. You could play like old school dance hall, right? Depending on the crowd. If it's more of an American crowd, you don't want to play dance hall and Afro beats unless it's on the radio. Like you want to play stuff that people know. You can also play stuff that it sounds good to you and you want to try out as well too. But this is within the first few hours, right? And what you're looking for, right, is when you play these songs, you're looking for that bop. When people are walking around, getting their food, they're mingling, you're looking for that bop. You know what I'm saying? You're looking for people just nodding their head up and down, right? So that's what you're looking for in those beginning warm-up sets of, you know, private events or even club events as well too, that bop. But when it's prime time, it's go time. You're playing what's the hottest records that's out right now. You know what I'm saying? Now, the third way to read a room is the body language, the bops. So now once you're reading the room and you follow the first two ways to read the room, the third way to see like if anybody's really engaging with what you're playing is the body language. All you want to see is people rapping along, people singing along. You know, the key thing is that you want to start with the ladies. The ladies always get the parties going. If you get the ladies going, then the guys always follow. That's and you know bumping it, and you know you could see the mean faces, like the ooh, that's good type face. You know what I'm saying? You know that you're getting somewhere, right? So what I like to do is I can, you know, like if I see like a lot of people that's like, you know, my age, right? I'll play like old school R&B or old school hip hop, you know, but I'll play like probably like 3 good songs, right, that everybody knows, and I'll throw in something that maybe people haven't heard in a while, or I haven't heard this outside. Let me see how people are reacting, right? And what I like to do is I like to confirm that, hey, if this set of, I like to do the rule of 3, right? I could play a song, right, that I just discovered, right? And once I play it, I'll see if I play this at this graduation party, let me see if they react to it. If they're head bopping it, cool. That's my green lit test. Then the next day, if I have like a birthday party or something like that, I play it and people are head bopping. All right, cool. That's 2 confirmations. I like to get 3 confirmations before I'm like, all right, this is forever in my rotation. Now, if I play it at like, you know, at a club or any like a third event, right? And I also get the same reaction, boom. Or if people are singing along with it, all right, boom, it's in my forever rotation, right? So that's how I like to test songs out. I like to know how people are feeling certain songs with that type of vibe. The fourth thing that I'll do to read the room, or for you to even pay attention to, is who reacts first, right? So, for example, right, if I play like When I See You by Fantasia, right? And if I see like a lot of ladies are singing along to it, so I'll keep that in my pocket and I'll know that, oh, these ladies, they love R&B. You know what I'm saying? So I know that when it's time to like dance, right? Or when it's time to like, when it's go time, when it's prime time, I will sneak R&B into my set in which everybody knows, right? Another instance, right? If I'm trying to figure out who's in the room, let's say if I come from another booking to a club, right? And I don't know who's in the room. I don't know what country people are from, right? And I'm trying to test something out. I'll test the most popular song within a certain genre. Saying Afro beats, right? I could start off with like Burna Boy, Last Last. Okay, cool. I know everybody knows this song, but now the next song I could follow up, I could do a lot of things with that. I could follow up with like Finesse by Feels, or I could follow up with Closer or Love Wanting Tea, right? I could follow up with those three songs, which is another Afrobeat song, right? Which again is popular. Boom. If everybody's singing it, I'm like, ah, cool. They like Afrobeats. Then I could go a little bit deeper, right? And I could play like Bloody Samaritan by Ira Star, right? So now I've played 3 Afrobeat songs that everybody knows, and I'm getting a little bit deeper into my Afrobeat bag to see how far I can go in. So while I'm even doing that, I will even say on the mic, yo, shout out to my Afrobeat lovers in the building, so that they feel heard, they feel like, oh, they're included, and I'm interacting with the crowd. So as I'm playing the songs, I get a little bit deeper into my Afrobeat bag until the energy starts to die down a little bit, just so that I know like, okay, these are, my Africans are like here and they're reacting here. Same way as a private event, right? Private events are different because I already have found out the information who's in the crowd beforehand. So like I kind of know like if a Nigerian hires me, I know that mostly people who are attending the event are Nigerians. If I know a Ghanaian hired me, I know that mostly people who are attending the event are Ghanaian. Now I will ask them, hey, like, you have any friends that are like Haitian, Spanish, anybody from different countries and stuff like that, and they'll tell me like, hey, I have like a full handful of people that are like, that are from the DR. So I know like, okay, if I see them, right, then I know that later on in the night I'll play some reggaeton for them. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you read the room, right, in terms of who reacts to what first, right, depending on which event. Private events, I already know the information, so I already asked them certain information. But whereas club events, if officially I came in from another gig and I'm trying to figure out who's where, I'll play the most popular songs from a genre to identify who's where. For example, for Haitians, like the when I play that, all the Haitians go crazy. So if I play that and not a lot of people are reacting to that, then I know like Haitians aren't really in the building like that. So I could like skip that genre real quick and I don't have to play a lot of Haitian music. But if I see like a lot of Haitians react, I can go like when I'm playing faster music, I could play Raboda. You know what I'm saying? Like the Haitians, the real ones, they know about that. So I could play that. The fifth thing to know is when you're reading a room, you want to check the temperature, right? So depending on where you're at in your set, right? Let's take a 4-hour event, right? And let's use the club as an example, right? First club, then private events. So private events fall under always birthday parties, weddings, graduation, always. So clubs. If you're trying to read a room in the club, you want to know what's the temperature. If, for instance, the DJ before you is warming up the crowd, right? And people are dancing and reacting, then you already know the room is warm. So it's on you to know, okay, this genre is who people are reacting to. You know what I'm saying? So you got to follow through with that, right? And sometimes you could try stuff new. So like now, like for instance, if we're in hip hop, right? And the DJ is playing some hip hop songs, right? And people are reacting to it a lot. You know, just know that, okay, but the DJ is not playing the bangers, then that means that all right, cool, and I play the bangers, this room is going to they're going to turn up. You know what I'm saying? They're going to turn up. So I know that, all right, cool, like hip hop is a bag that I can reserve for. I could start off the room with like, a little dance hall and stuff like that. Now, if I start off with dance hall, right, and it depends on the set, like let's say like, for instance, it's a 4-hour event and we're playing like at the third hour. Yo, third hour, is prime time. You play straight bangers, right? So whatever the previous DJ didn't play, you play everything. You know what I'm saying? So there's no room for you to like catch a breath or anything like that. Nah, straight bangers, right? So if the previous DJ is playing like hip hop or something like that, and you can tell like, all right, cool, like the crowd, the energy is up, right? You can either A, continue with that energy, or B, switch up the vibe low key, just so that people can yearn. It's a little strategy that you could do is, all right, cool, like I could switch the genre first, go into Afro beats real quick, right? See if they're like messing with that. And I'll play the straight bangers. If they're not messing with that, then I can go back to hip hop and play the straight bangers. And I know that the room is going to be up. You know what I'm saying? But when you're switching genres, you're making people like yearn, like, yo, like I want to hear hip hop. So the more anticipated that they want to hear a genre, the hotter the room is bubbling and sizzling. The pot is boiling. And once you play like a hip hop song like Finito, boom, it's up. The sixth way to read the room is to understand what culture is in the room, right? You want to know, once you get on set, who's in the room. Is it, you know what I'm saying, Africans in the room? Is it Caribbeans in the room? And there's different types of Caribbeans. There's Haitians, there's Trini, there's Guyanese, and then there's, of course, I can't forget about the Jamaicans. You know what I'm saying? Like, they turn up. So you want to know who is more in the room, and it starts dwindling down. So like, if you know that there's more Americans in the room, you want to play hip hop. You want to start off with hip hop first, right? And then dwindle your way down to the other genres, right? The bangers are the room check, right? For you, it's a strategy. You want to know, you want to use a banger to see how many types of people are in the room. And then from there, you disperse and you can experiment and play around. The seventh way to read a room is what not to play. Now, let me tell you these. I think a lot of DJs are missing a lot of mentors because they don't know. Okay, I understand from their sentiment that, hey, like, I want to outshine or I want to get my name out there. That's cool and everything like that, but you got to learn how to do it in the right way. So a lot of DJs, their mindset is, okay, I want to get my name out there. Let me play the bangers and let me get that crowd reaction. So if you're starting out, your time will come. Everybody has their time. I promise you. Or my time is still now, right? But it took me a while to get there, right? So let's break things down from the club setting versus the private event setting. Club setting, right? If you're playing the first 2 hours, and if you play a banger within the first 2 hours, you're not nice. You're not good at all. Reason being is because there's literally 10 to 20,000 songs out there that you could play that literally make people feel good. You don't have to play a banger out, right? Because when you're first 2 hours, when you're there early, I promise you people are there to like mingle. They're not trying to dance within the first 2 hours, depending on what type of club event it is, right? If it's a dancing type of event, then I get it. And not in terms of the bangers, because there's a lot of music that don't make you dance. But let's say just a typical average club, within the first 2 hours, you're not playing no type of bangers at all. Meaning what's hot right now, right? So now when you get into hour 3, you could play the bangers. All bets are off. You could play any type of bangers. Now, when you're at hour 4, right, whatever is left, if there's no bangers that has been played, all right, cool. You could play the bangers, and then you could start slowing stuff down, depending on like what type of club you're in. So like in the American clubs, right, I know that you could literally experiment with a lot of things. I'm in Jersey, right? So we play like, again, a lot of Jersey club music, house music. We play hip hop from New York, from ATL, from, down south. So we play like a lot of music. So on the 4th hour, you could slow things down. You could, keep the high momentum. You could play like, play old school. You could literally do a lot of things. Like that I'm saying, like, it's a lot of music out there for people to be repeating the same songs and for people to feel like DJs are playing the same thing. You need to figure out like, first 2 hours, that's experimental music. Hour 3, banger music. Hour 4, banger / you could slow things down. Depends on how high you want to go. You could still bring things up. You could plateau things, or you could bring things down on a gradual basis. So now here's a real example of how I read the room. So like last week I went to Mexico, and travel group that I'm a part of and everything like that called Discover Giddy. So shout out to Discover Giddy. So Young Miami just dropped a song called Spend That, right? So she didn't just drop it. I think it dropped like 3 months ago, right? So like while we were like in the bus and everything like that, like, the ladies were playing Spend That, right? In the bus. So, they were getting active and everything like that. In my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, like this is a song that I'm straight, like if they ain't play this, I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna start my set with that. So I had the previous DJ, and it's in the video right here. I had the previous DJ, he was setting up, he was playing Afro beats. It was an Afrobeat day party and everything like that, right? But you already know, like, it's a travel group. It's 70 of us, like everybody, not everybody's American, but like it's a mix of, Africans, Americans, Caribbeans, but we all from the USA. So we all listen to hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So like, this is how I started my set. If you outside with Discover Giddy, can I get a yeah? If you outside with Discover Giddy, can I get a we outside? Yeah. Listen, we gonna switch it up real quick. Let me get all my ladies activated real quick. 1, 2, 1, 2. So as you can see, the ladies, they would turn up. Like once I play that, that's how you start a set, right? So I know I was the third DJ to play, right? That day was wild. But anyway, that day was turn. So you see how I started my set? From there, I could have carried it anywhere, but that day I chose to carry it. Okay, like I'm gonna start it off with Spend That, and then after that I'm gonna go straight into twerk music, and then from there on it just, that day just went up. But that's kind of like an example of how you read the room. I read the room because there was like a lot of ladies in the building, right? And I knew that, that song just it just started being hot, and a lot of ladies loved that song already. So I already knew, like in my head, I'm like, yeah, like I was plotting in the bus, I ain't gonna lie. So I knew that like it was like an Afrobeat event, right? But we brought in a lot of people. So energy is neither created nor destroyed, it's only transferred. So I already knew that energy was going to be contagious when I started off my set like that. So before I play the first song, I'm not just thinking about the music. I'm thinking about who's in the room, who's celebrating, whose birthday it is, what the energy level is. I'm thinking about the crowd, the audience, what type of music that they love or they like listening to. So you need to keep in mind those things. That is the difference between playing music and controlling the room. And if you're a DJ, start watching the room before you watch your laptop. And if you're planning any events, this is why the right DJ matters. Music is the tool, the room is the mission.